Hello again. I'm putting a little addendum onto that teaching on II Thessalonians 2, just because I listen to it and sometimes I get so bogged down in the details because I love all the details. I don't give you the big picture, and I just want to have a conversation about those passages. We could say a lot about the deception coming, about what I believe we're already in it. There's a great deal of deception out there. There is a great lie. There is the lie that people are going to believe in. We're already inundated with lies in our culture all around the world. Like globalism, anarchy. Those are all tyranny, communism, socialism. They're all part, I see, of the spirit of the antichrist spirit. In Scripture, there's really no the antichrist. That's not really biblical. There's the beast of Revelation. There's the man of lawlessness, the son of perdition. These are all in II Thessalonians 2, right, that we just looked at. There's, I have this great book by Arthur Pink. Arthur W. Pink, he lived in the 1800s. This is so insightful. He calls it the Antichrist. He's just showing how the types of this guy are all through Scripture. It's beautiful. I mean, through the Psalms, through the prophets. Oh, it's and I believe that when there, to God, there's only a few times that are important on His calendar. I mean, all time is important. We're all important, but after creation, you got the call of Abraham, then you've got his people being called out of Egypt, where he married his people in the Passover time. Gave them his covenant at Sinai. Christ comes on the scene. Christ comes again. I mean, there's just main events on God's calendar. And so when you think like that, and you start seeing these passages in Psalms and all these, I can't even think right now. But anyway, there's this overlying theme of the wicked one, the oppressor, who is called the Assyrian. Now it's coming back to me. There are types of this figure of the beast of Revelation and of Paul's man of lawlessness all through the Word. And there was a king of Assyria who was an oppressor. There were many. And those kings oppressed the Jews. And, but there's also this grand type of the oppressor, of the beast of Revelation, who is going to be active, who's going to be the perpetrator of that Jacob's time of trouble, mentioned in Jeremiah 30, I believe. It could be 31 or 33, but it's in there. So there are these, all through the Scriptures, there's hints of this time. There's the end times, there's Jesus' time, and there's Egypt. It's like, and we're going through another Egypt. When Jesus comes back, it's like the scenes in, for instance, Psalm 68, Isaiah, I can't remember, 60 or 62, where you see him marching up from Bozrah. Who is this coming up from Bozrah? There are these wilderness, this king marching up in the wilderness. There's several of those scenes in the Word. This is Christ when He comes back. I mean, so there's these grand themes like this. Another grand theme is this man of lawlessness, this oppressor. And the deception, this deception that Paul's talking about in Thessalonians 2. It's interesting that, when I see there will be those who believe the lie in II Thessalonians 2. Why is that the lie? Well, some think that has to do with the man that the Muslims are expecting, especially the Shia Muslims, the 12th Imam, who is called the Mahdi. Because when he they believe when the Mahdi returns, whom they think has never left the earth, he's buried somewhere in Syria in a cave, but he's going to come back when the world is in chaos and bring peace and a kingdom to the earth. And with him is going to come who the Muslims say is Jesus. And he's going to, because Jesus never went to the cross. This is all what the Muslims believe. He never went to the cross. He just ascended to heaven, but he's coming back when the Mahdi appears, and he's going to do signs and wonders. Well, this perfectly fits, a lot of you know some of this stuff, this perfectly fits our false prophet and the millennial reign of Christ, and when he returns to the earth after there is war. Oh, so I just want to kind of tie all this stuff together that I talked about a while ago. There is coming a great deception. We're already in the middle of it. We're already in the beginnings of it. I want to read 1 John 4, because this is the clearest passage about this deception that is coming, that we're already in, and that I believe the globalist spirit, the tyranny, the anarchy, the communistic rise, all of those are a part of the spirit of Antichrist. The spirit of Antichrist is active in our earth today, has been. It's just going to increase. 1 John 4, 1. Beloved, don't believe every spirit, but test the spirits, whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. Lance Wallnau says the false prophet in our day is the media, because they are spewing out all these lies. Okay. But there's going to be a false prophet, because we know the false prophet of Revelation and the beast are going to be thrown into the lake of fire. You can't throw a system into the lake of fire. It has to be, we're talking persons here. Okay, anyway, we're going to go on. 1 John 4, now we're at verse 2. The false prophets have gone out into the world. That's the end of verse 1. Verse 2, by this you know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is of God. And every spirit that does not confess that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist. Now it's capitalized in our English versions, but that's not so in the Greek, because there's no capital letters. It's the spirit of Antichrist, which you have heard was coming and is now already in the world. This is in John's time, right? In 60, 70 AD, the spirit of Antichrist was already in the world. You are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because he who is in you is greater than he who's in the world. Now, skipping down verse 6, we are of God, and he who knows God hears us. He who is not of God does not hear us. By this we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. So I don't know. I just wanted to say the mystery of lawlessness is already at work. The spirit of Antichrist, spoken of in 1 John 4, is already at work. It could be that this lie, the belief in this lie in 2 Thessalonians 2, is that the whole earth is going to be so swayed by this false Jesus that appears, that the Muslims think is going to appear on the earth. I mean, people who don't know the word, they're going to see, Christ's return, or they're going to see this man. I'm sorry, not Christ's return. They're going to see this man of lawlessness coming into power, and then they're going to see this false prophet that we know of from Revelation 13. And the Muslims are going to be saying, this is it. This is the Mahdi, and Jesus has come back. So there's going to be this huge deception. There's going to be a huge deception. We don't know if the Muslims are going to say, this is it, but it all fits, right? So anyway, just wanted to add this little addendum. We'll talk more about this, but I want to start, again, I keep saying I'm going to start Ezra. Anyway, that's it. Bless you.